You guys have a round of applause. As we all know, the Colorado chapter has, in spite of the challenges we face, thrived. Regrettably, we lost one of our very own member, our very dear member, the person of Bradley, Setima Abibo, senior model of Nigeria, member of the Charter Institute. Mr. Because of what we are now determined to be the pandemic that has afflicted this world. In his honor, he would, in the course of this speech, but before the speech ends, he holding the 1 minute silence. Mr. Abibo was the pioneer secretary of the Charter. He was indeed the chair of the anniversary committee of this event. To his credit, what you see here today is essentially to Reverend Abibo's credit. He did his utmost in generating funds to enable us post what we are posting today. May he continue to rest in the bosom of the Lord. The chapter continues to offer training activity facilities and seminars to members and would-be members, both virtually and in recent times physically. Indeed, a few weeks ago, we had to receive exams for the accelerated membership that was done at the chapter secretariat. It is a venue that we would commend each and every one of us and aspiring members to always put at the back of their minds, because part of the facilities to enable you to do those tests that the branch usually schedules in its annual calendar. The theme of this end of year anniversary is very apt, particularly against the background of the socio-economic issues that the world is facing today. Indeed, some of us have taken the view that one of the best ways to market a city, a state, and a country is through effective ADR, through effective and simple, straightforward distribution of these goods by arbitration. Indeed, the examples of Singapore in the Far East and Rwanda should be a lesson for us in Nigeria. Colorado chapter sees itself in a prime place to project arbitration and, in the fullness of time, make Port Harcourt a hub for arbitral activities. Mr. Chairman, my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge, I welcome to our anniversary. We see a bright future for arbitral activities in River State, and we will continue to be in the forefront of safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Can we give him another rousing applause? We also welcome in our midst the Honorable Justice J.M. Kobani, retired, who walked in while the chairman of the Harvard Chapter was giving us address. So welcome, sir. We would also ask that you kindly come to the rostrum, sir. Thank you.
We recognize the presence of the chairman of this occasion, my Lord, Honorable Justice Ishak Sani, the Administrative Judge of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt Division, is here today represented by my Lord, Honorable Justice E.A. Obili. My Lord, may we request most humbly that my Lord, Honorable Justice Adamu Turaki Mohammed. My Lord, we apologize for that mix-up. We request most humbly that my Lord would assent to that. Please, let's do more than that.
At this point, we will be taking good news message by the chairman of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, UK, Nigeria branch, Mr. Olatunde Busari, SAN.
Chartered Institute of Arbitrators is a worldwide organization established in 1915. Because Nigeria is fast growing and indeed will be described as the fastest growing branch in the world, we have 3 chapters, namely the Abuja chapter, the Port Harcourt chapter, and the Ibadan chapter. And now I can confirm to you that Port Harcourt is very dear to the Nigerian branch. There because Port Harcourt has been at the forefront of various activities that we have successfully anchored and conducted in the branch. Also in terms of training, Port Harcourt has been very, very active. And I must commend the effort that Port Harcourt has put into the growth and development of arbitration, not only within their region, but also in Nigeria and Africa. I think they've done very well, and we are proud of their efforts, and proud of their commitment, and proud of their dedication. I seize this opportunity to wish the Port Harcourt chapter all the best, many happy returns, many more years of existence as a chapter.
I'm delighted to extend my warm congratulations to the Port Harcourt chapter of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. Therefore, on this very special occasion, I'd like to wish all of us celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators Port Harcourt chapter a fruitful and memorable event, and for its continued trajectory of success and many more milestones to come.
My name is Andrew. This is wishing the Port Harcourt branch of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators prosperous and happy days ahead.
I'm Dr. Mabati Bezubari, SAN. I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators and a member of the Lagos chapter. It's my pleasure to felicitate the Port Harcourt chapter on the occasion of its 10th anniversary.
I'm Ben Giretta. I'm the chair of the London branch of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. Congratulations to the Port Harcourt chapter on its 10th anniversary and all the very best in the future.
Hello, this is Catherine Rogers, checking in from Pennsylvania. I want to wish warm party congratulations to the Port Harcourt chapter of the Chartered Institute. It's organizations like yours that are doing the hard work on the ground to educate and bring together people in the international arbitration community. So warm congratulations on the 10th, and I'm ready to look forward to congratulating you on your 20th. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Can we give them a round of applause? We are distinguished members of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators. Next.
Well, we'll continue with our recognitions as we have more persons coming. My Lord, Honorable Justice Lemia Abina, can we please put our hands together? We will seek the indulgences of my Lord, Honorable Justice Mohammed Turaki, for a goodwill message at this time. We are honored to have the chairman of the occasion now present with us. As earlier announced, my Lord, the Honorable Justice Ishak Sani, a main judge of the Federal High Court Port Harcourt Division, is the chairman of this occasion, and today he is represented by my Lord, Honorable Justice E.A. Obi, Can we please put our hands together? We also wish to invite my Lord to invite you as he presides over the proceedings of the day.
Thank you, sir. May we also invite to the high table the speakers for the day, Professor Ofonze Amuchezi, SAN. Sir, please come to the high table. We also kindly ask our second paper presenter, Mr. Henry Omosio, ACL, please come to the high table. Welcome, sir. We will be taking the opening remark by the chairman of the occasion, Honorable Justice Ishak Sani, the administrative judge of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt Division, represented by Honorable Justice E.E. Thank you, sir.
I want to say good morning to the lords and the high table and the lord that has refused to go up, the organizers of this occasion, the resource persons that are going to present educative and instructive information to us. We have senior counsel and then senior counsel. After that, I'm sure you have senior counsel and all the other counsel that are present here. I say once more, good morning. I apologize for coming late. I had to attend to one or two commitments before rushing to this place. So please do bear with me. I want to welcome you all to this wonderful gathering. It's a gathering that I want to urge the organizers to expand the scope of invitation, because it has to do with arbitration. And you know, arbitration is gradually becoming the order of the day. It is a method of resolving disputes between parties. In other words, it is an easier and faster means of resolving conflicts and disputes. And this is why it ought to be encouraged, so that we have several of these matters. Council never bother to look at the arbitration clauses in such agreements. Just rush to court. At the end of it all, you have a situation where there is application for state, and it has to go back to the arbitration for state. I want to believe that
this is it. I have not seen the program. Is it workshop or
anniversary? It's a nice thing that we should give attentive attention to the lectures to be delivered. I know Prof is here. Is he here already? The Prof is here. He has covered all fields. He is a professor. He's a good legal practitioner. He's a teacher. He is a member of several institutes. He is also a member of arbitration in Lagos and these other arms of ADR in Enugu and Edo State. He has covered a lot of fields, and we sincerely believe that he is going to give us a wonderful presentation. We should therefore endeavor to listen attentively so that we don't go back empty-handed. Just as we have come without nothing in our heads, we are going back with a lot of knowledge. I want to thank the resource Prof for being here with us. And it's when he starts that you really know who the man is. Much information about his profile. For now, I'm not supposed to present another paper. I want to say thank you and welcome all of you that have found got the time to be here. God bless you all.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, my lord.
Honorable Justice. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Also at this point,
Well, we thank my Lord, Obile for his words of encouragement, advice that flowed from his opening remark. We will be taking more goodwill messages from our well-wishers, and it's So we'll take my Lord, the Honorable Chief Judge of Rivers State. We will at this time take a goodwill message from my Lord as represented by my Lord Honorable Justice Adolphus Enebeli. Please, my Lord, we seek your indulgences. Thank you.
Taking a cue from my Lord here, I say good morning to you all. I adopt a vote already read out by him. It's a pleasurable task to be asked by my Lord the Chief Judge, Honorable Justice Adama Iye Labinkara, to be here. I represent her this occasion. I've been asked to make a good message, is it? Yes. You understand our mood now in the judiciary. Yesterday we lost a colleague, a brother judge, Honorable Justice E.N. Obuji, yesterday. We're in this era of a generation that is degenerate, very fragile, fearful, so to speak. So in that regard, we will rise up for a minute silence. May the gentle soul of Honorable Justice E.N. Obuji and other faithfuls departed rest in the bosom of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. You know, when you are bereaved, you are tongue-tied, carrying the burden of sorrow. And even the most gifted orator will lose the charm of his eloquence. I don't know what to say now. I didn't know how to make some remarks, but having participated in the activities of this chapter 2 years ago. I think I delivered a lecture resolving commercial disputes.
I think we're 6, but we'll just wait another 5 minutes just to give all the people an opportunity to join as well. But I think we're already full for this meeting. Let's just another 5 minutes. Okay, just I think we should start. I see that Mr. Candy Johnson has just stepped away from this computer for a minute. So just once we have it back, we'll start.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm about the happiest person this morning. Interestingly, I set up the committee when I was chair for us to celebrates the 10th anniversary of the chapter, and that was, we're actually 10 years in 2019, so am I right? Yes. And you know how life goes. That's why they say that the only thing that is permanent in life is change. You really don't know what happens at the next breath. But we thank God. And my joy, like I said today, is there's no vacuum left. In fact, I keep saying that I like it that when you have stepped out, you have stronger hands who will keep doing the job. So let me start by congratulating the team that took over from us and continued. And you know, another thing again, though sad, was the first chair of the committee, who was the planning committee, was late Leonard S.A. and Abibo. I recall the several times that we had to have a meeting in his law firm to plan this anniversary last year. He was so passionate about it. When I finish speaking, please, all of you will bear with me. We'll take a minute silence on behalf. Let me just finish what I have to say. So, you know, it's mixed feeling of joy and sadness. That's the way I felt this morning when I thought about today's event. But we thank God. Like the Bible says that in all things we give thanks. So I give thanks for how it has turned out. But I want to say congratulations to the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Port Harcourt chapter. Please put your hands together. When I see 10 years, just yesterday, I was just running around following Leonard S.A. and Okala, Mrs. S.A. and say do this, you're running around doing this, organizing this and all that. Here we are already, 10 years. And in 10 years, we've tried to bring up arbitration practice in Rivers State because we found that there was a gap. Everything appeared to have been going just to Lagos. Everybody appears was only in Lagos. People who knew about arbitration. But we had to push, and then we brought the training down. And I can say that we've had a lot of people trained as arbitrators in Rivers State. And I think that would have improved their practice. So it's a good thing that we kept, you know, the chapter going, because what it did was to attract trainings to Port Harcourt. And so you didn't have to go to Lagos to have your training. The chapter going, because what it did was to attract trainings in Port Harcourt. So we've really come a long way. So you didn't have to go to Lagos to have all of us. Yes, at the level we are now, we may not, you know, practice arbitration strictly speaking, but I can tell you that the knowledge of it is really helping one at the bench, and I really thank God. So if you have anybody around you who doesn't seem to have any ADRs, please encourage them. You know, you can plan. Yes, that the training is expensive, but life is about planning. But life is about planning, isn't it? We plan for different things. So you can actually plan and ensure that you can get that training. It adds a lot of value. We've had arbitration held and lawyers coming and they don't know what to do because they don't have any training, any understanding of what they need to do. Or they even draft arbitration clauses into their contract and it doesn't make any sense. It rather creates litigation. So please, training is important, and so we should keep spreading that information. But on the whole, I want to congratulate the Port Harcourt chapter for this great feat that we've achieved today, and we thank God for every one of us. So please, can you rise with me as we do a minute silence in honor of late Granville Setima Abibo, who was the first chair of the planning committee and a dedicated member, a founding member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators Port Harcourt chapter, who passed on sometime this year. God, may the soul of our dearly beloved Granville Abibo continue to rest in your bosom. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please enjoy yourselves.
Thank you, the Lord, for those goodwill messages and for everyone who has been part of this program this morning. We want to say a big thank you. I would go straight now to the next event, which is a documentary on the chapter, the Port Harcourt chapter of the CIArb. The journey so far. Thank you so much.
Conflict is constant in any society. So long as resources are scarce and human beings are psychologically and physiologically unique with different needs, values, priorities, and at any moment in time, there will be disputes in society. People will always be people, so some will not do what they have agreed to do, not willing to pay or loss it will cost others. While some will deliberately encroach on other persons or their properties. When any of that occurs, the aggrieved party either seeks redress in a competent court of law or elsewhere. In modern times, especially in civilized societies, the court has been the first choice. Most people who seek justice from someone or the government that has trampled on their rights or about to do so. This has inundated the court with cases, making it unique to dispense justice as quickly as desired. Endless adjournment and delay have become the order of the day. Also, it is becoming increasingly expensive to seek redress in courts as legal fees and fine charges have proclaimed over the years. To find a way around this challenge, alternative dispute resolution (ADR) was born in order to raise the status of arbitration to the dignity of a distinct and recognized position as one of the learned professionals. 5 gentlemen, H.D. Emery, a solicitor and chartered secretary, F.M. Ball, an architect, I.W. Bullen, an accountant, A. Wells, professional known, and A. Stevens, a solicitor, came together and founded an unincorporated association known as Chartered Institute of Arbitrators on March 1st, 1915 in the United Kingdom. The institute was later incorporated in 1924 and granted a royal charter in 1979. According to information gleaned from its website, CIArb is a global training and membership organization promoting different techniques for avoiding, managing, and resolving disputes as a cost that arise in a multitude of contexts, such as arbitration, adjudication, mediation, and negotiation. It has a community of more than 21,500 members committed to these techniques based across 149 countries and supported by an international network of 41 branches. Nigeria is counted among the 41 branches. The Nigerian branch of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, UK, is one of the branches of the CIArb UK. It was granted approval by the Institute in 1999, having fulfilled the requirements to be granted branch status. Since then, it has grown in its membership and has over 1,137 members. Its membership cuts across all disciplines, including practitioners in law, construction, shipping, engineering, insurance, banking, and accounting, oil and gas, etc. Currently, 3 chapters have been created by the Nigerian branch of CIArb UK, namely Abuja chapter, Port Harcourt chapter, and Ibadan chapter. The process of the formation of the Port Harcourt chapter kick-started on June 30, 2006 by Mr. E.C. Ukala, Sir, FCIArb. The other attendees were Honorable Justice A.O. Faji, Honorable Justice E.N. Thompson, Dr. T.C. Osalapo, Mrs. M.A. Asia, late Mr. G.I. Abibo, Mr. Chris Okoro, Mr. Chika Ibokwe, Mr. Tope Sholola, Mr. Blanksley, Apingodo, Ofolua Georgia, Ifeoma Okonkwo, Tess Maris Okeke, Mrs. Florence A. Fiberespa. The meeting had only one purpose, that is, the establishment of a chapter of the Institute in Port Harcourt. To set things in motion, the steering committee was constituted and Mr. E.C. Ukala San was made the chairman. Ukala's committee was to oversee the details of time, frequency, and venue of meetings. The foundation of the Port Harcourt chapter was not an easy task, but now I had to do it, and luckily indeed for the Port Harcourt chapter, capable hands were employed midwife the new Port Harcourt chapter of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators UK, Nigeria branch. On Thursday, 10th April 2008, Mr. E.G. Blackstone and Mrs. P.N. Wanjoko, presently a magistrate, Rivers State Judiciary, conducted the parliamentary election for the Port Harcourt chapter. Those elected were E.C. Ukala San, FCIArb Chairman, Mrs. M.A. Eastern San, C.ARB Vice Chairman, late G.I. Abibo San, NCIArb Secretary, Mrs. A.G. Langston, MCIArb Public Relations Officer, Mrs. Florence Fiberesma, MCArb, now in charge of the High Court of Rivers State, Mr. Tope Sholola, Membership Secretary, Mr. F. Nko Taria, Liaison Officer. Immediately after the successful election, an inaugural committee was constituted to organize the befitting ceremony officially mark the beginning of the chapter. Those drafted into the inaugural committee were Dr. T.C. Osalapo, Sir, Chairman, MCIArb, Mrs. Florence Fiberesma, now in charge of the High Court of Rivers State, Secretary, Olatunji Abdulrazak, Dr. Sholola, Esquire, late Chief Akuru George, Etula Amigo, His Worship, D.N. Wanjoko. The Integral Committee worked assiduously and the inauguration was finally held on 26 February 2009 at the Rivers State Ministry of Justice in Auditorium. Therefore, 26 February 2009 marks the official foundation of the Port Harcourt chapter, a decade after the Nigerian branch granted approval by the CIArb UK. The As the Harcourt chapter grew, more committees and sub-committees were set up and empowered to help in the running of the chapter. Notable among them was the mobilization committee set up in October 2009 to coordinate and enroll new members in 2010. Subsequently, other committees were instituted with dedicated members who were willing, eager, able, and had all delivered on their mandates. As of August 2015, the following with the Standing Stroke Annual Committee. 1. Education Stroke Training Committee. 2. Secretariat Management Committee. 3. Secretariat Opening Stroke Launch Committee. 4. Event Coordination Committee. And 5. Membership Development Committee. Some notable achievements of the Port Harcourt chapter include the training of judicial officers in Rivers State, a collaborative effort between the chapter and Rivers State Judiciary. This was a pioneering effort of the chapter. There was also the successful hosting of the CIArb UK Nigerian Branch Annual Conference in the year 2016. Port Harcourt chapter will always be grateful to His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State, Chief Justice Ezewike, and the Government of Rivers State for being the chief sponsor of that conference. Again, in its effort at advancing arbitration practice in Rivers State, the chapter reconstituted the Rivers State Arbitration Law Review Committee to produce a draft of arbitration law for Rivers State. The committee comprised of Mr. Tony Kuku, currently chairman of the Port Harcourt chapter, Sumite Nkotaria, Ume Maduka, Clifford B. Sigalo, Akinola Akinyadu, and Adelike Arobolu. The draft of the arbitration law for Rivers State was later sponsored as an executive bill to the Rivers House of Assembly, Rivers State, and eventually passed into law, Rivers State Arbitration Law number 10, 2019. Elections into the executive of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, UK, Nigeria branch, Port Harcourt chapter has always been peaceful and transparent. Why would it be, considering the caliber of members in the chapter? Since the EC Ukala-led executive left, others have filled in the position beginning from 2011 to lose the list of these great leaders and the dates they served. It is Yanaya A. Isiek, son, chairman, Mr. Henry C. Chibo, secretary, Mrs. Florence Tiberesua, treasurer and financial secretary, membership secretary, Sasibo Iko Tarea, public relations officer, Mrs. Wendy R. Onuti, zonal license officer. December 2014 to December 2017. 1. Mr. Henry C. Chibo, chairman. Mrs. Florence Tiberesua, vice chairman. Mr. T.K. Udela, secretary. Ms. Thomas Geoffrey Toby, treasurer and financial secretary. Mr. Samuel Abel Jongo, ACIArb, public relations officer. However, upon the elevation of Mrs. Florence Tiberesua, MCIArb, to the bench of the Rivers State High Court Judiciary in the year 2019, Messrs. Tonya Krukubo, MCIArb, and Emeka Onyeka, FCIArb, became the chairman and vice chairman of the Port Harcourt chapter, respectively. No man will make a great leader who wants to do it all himself, or to get all the credit for doing it. Therefore, the question you have for the current chairman is, how supportive have members been to the activities and mission of the institute?
So your question will require two approaches. The first one will be to say the branch, the members of the branch have been super supportive of the chapter's activities. Beginning, I must say, with the current chair of the branch, Mr. Julio Busariese, the chartered arbitrator, and indeed past chairs and current ESCO members of the branch. They have always been on hand to assist and guide, and in that fact participating in most of our activities. We said one being the collaborative webinar we had with the Commonwealth Lawyers Association, where Mr. Busari gave an opening address. Current members of the chapter who have also been very supportive of the activities of the chapter, been attentive and regular at meetings. They have always been useful suggestions, all towards the advancement of administration.
What is your suggestion for the Port Harcourt chapter in the nearest future?
Well, like all chapters, we have definitely been in the forefront of advancing arbitration, particularly issues and arbitration, resolution of disputes. So if you ask me what my projections or what my hope is for the branch in the nearest future, is that going to be catalyst for the development of arbitration as a go-to area in alternative distribution. And also to hopefully encourage the use of Port Harcourt as a hub for arbitration activities. That is something that's my hope and expectation for the years ahead.
A number of people together with members and associates, we should be able to get that stuff. So I look forward to greater awareness, greater growth, and for us to really take our efforts to ensure that the economic advantage of having arbitral people who are trained as arbitrators or arbitral institutions are valuable institutions that augment the traditional way of settling disputes, that they're all in place, so that everyone will better to help to bolster the economy of the state, as well as ensure that professionals in our ministry, that they're up and doing their game.
My name is I'm reaching that I've been a member of the institute since 2015. I'd like to use this opportunity to wish the Port Harcourt chapter a happy 10th anniversary as more successful as well.
I am waiting but I am very happy to join the chapter celebrating our 10th anniversary. We should have greater heights of this.
Each year from the Harcourt chapter Institute of Arbitrators. Congratulations to Harcourt on your anniversary.
And it's a big year, the number of Institute of Arbitrators. Wishing to the Harcourt chapter 10th anniversary.
Wow, it's been 10 years. Okay.
And I say congratulations on chapter as we celebrate our 10th anniversary.
Hi, my name is Amaya. I was a proud member of the Chapter Institute of Arbitrators for Harcourt chapter. My dear chapter on our 10th anniversary and many more years ahead.
My name is Chris. I celebrate you on your 10th anniversary.
So most of the Chapter Institute of Arbitrators for Harcourt chapter. Yes, we should chapter at the 10th anniversary. Very many years ahead.
My name is Morris. Yes, we wish Port Harcourt chapter a happy 10th anniversary.
It's also I want to take this opportunity to wish the Port Harcourt chapter of the Institute a happy 10th anniversary.
Over the years, members of the Port Harcourt chapter have served in judgment.
Wow, that was a great one. Let's put our hands together for the chapter, for the achievements so far, the journey so far. Our history is rich, and as the scripture says, if all that were done were written, the whole world would not even contain it. We've done well. In order not to hold my lords to ransom, which we can't, we have no powers to restrain my lords. We will immediately move to two short events, and then one which is a presentation of the new ESCO. Secondly, we'll have presentation of awards, and then we'll take a group photograph so that we can proceed to the next line of program. Then my lords can actually take their pace. We apologize for the delays. We apologize for the longness of all of these events. We will move to the next, the presentation of the new ESCO. The chapter just recently concluded its election that brought in new members to the Executive Council of the chapter. We will call on my Lord, Honorable Justice Fiberesima, to do the presentation of the new ESCO.
That the chapter held an election on Wednesday, the 2nd of December 2020 at its meeting, and we received candidates for various positions that are to be the executive of the chapter. And at the end of it, we elected some persons. It's our pleasure to present them and to charge them to take the chapter to the highest level possible. So let me start with inviting the Public Relations Officer, Ms. Rita Amonichinga. Ms. Rita has the right of very busy. Okay, she's not around. If someone can you call her? This is important. Please. So next, I'll call the treasurer, Mrs. Wamara. The name you don't see. Where is Wamara? Where are they? As I saw her around, they are very busy at the back room. It's very good. Okay, let me also call the secretary. Okay, so we have Mr. Akinola standing there, his secretary, and we have Wamara standing there, she's treasurer. Then, to the big fish, can we have Mr. Emeka Oyinka, vice chair? You're not putting your hands together. You're not putting your hands together. Okay, then put your hands together for the chair. Very well. Along the Chief Judge of Rivers State, I know you are the Chief Judge of CIArb. My Lord Justice Enebeli, representing the Chief Judge of Rivers State, and the distinguished members of the High Table, and my lords, and the distinguished members of the Port Harcourt chapter, and ladies and gentlemen, I have before us the current chair for the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, Nigerian branch, Port Harcourt chapter. They are going to be covering the period from 2020 to 2023. It's a 3 years tenure, and we want to say, and we charge them to take this chapter to the highest level possible. And my Lord, when there is need, when the multi-law is finally put in place and we have started in actual fact, so now we know that Satoyin will be available to liaise with the officers of the multi-law to assist in areas of issues regarding arbitration for the state. This is really important. And so I want to present to all of us our, well, we know we can't shake hands, COVID-19 rules this is, but anyhow, we have to do something to ensure that we have presented them. So for the chapter members, you confirm that these are your officials? For the next 3 years. Oh, Rita! Who will put it up on Instagram and Facebook? Okay, so Rita, welcome. We're charging you to please take the chapter to the next level. We congratulate you, we are proud of you, and we have confidence that you will do great for the chapter, for the institute, and thank God for everyone. So congratulations. Let's do it. So that's it for you. Thank you very much.
The Lord discharged our duty with high credits. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lord. You've always been part of us. Remain so.
We will move straight to the next event, which is the presentation.
We will move straight to the next event.
I would seek the leave,
presentation
my Lord,
I would seek the leave
of this
Lord,
occasion.
Of this occasion.
The Honorable Admin
my Lord,
of the High Court has represented.
My Lord,
for the awards
to be presented
by my Lord, Honorable Justice
Eobile.
And another set of awards to be presented by my Lord, the CJ,
has represented
by Honorable Justice Adolphus Enebeli. And then the last set of awards will be presented by my Lord, Honorable Justice J.M. Kobani, retired. We will direct these proceedings as it were. In the circumstance, we will call out the names of the awardees, and they would move forward to I think we can do it on the okay, my Lord suggests that we do it down. For the purposes of photograph, I think it's better we do it down. So yes. I would crave the indulgence of my Lord to come for the set of awards. Let's put our hands together for this presentation. These awards are for the past chairman of the chapter. The first award goes to Mr. E.C. Ukala, S.A.N. The first award. He's absent. We would request that someone come forward to take their word on his behalf. Thank you so much. The next award goes to my own boss, Mrs. M.A. Asian S.A.N. Unfortunately, my role is dual here. I would have been suited to take that award. She's absent also. Please, can we have someone? Okay, Mrs. Oyeme Pratt, one of the. Next award goes to Mr. Henry Chibo. Mr. Henry Chibo is present here. Next goes to my Lord of Court Justice, Florence Fiberesima. Thank you, Lord, for honoring us. We're grateful. We're done on that. The next set of awards will be given by my Lord the Honorable Chief Judge of Rivers State, as presented by my Lord the Honorable Justice Adolphus Nebeli. The first is a posthumous award. And we're deeply touched by this because he was the chairman of the planning committee for this event. Late G.I. S.A.N. Please, I don't know if a member of the family can receive the award on his behalf, or we have someone else coming. Thank you. Is there anybody? Okay. Put our hands together for this, please. Next award goes to our own chair, existing, subsisting, valid chair of the chapter, Mr. T.J. Kukubo, indefatigable. The next award goes to the immediate past secretary of the chapter. Sorry, the next award goes to Mr. Tokwe Sholala, a founding member of the chapter. He's absent but ably represented by a great lieutenant and partner. Yes, Mr. Blanson Ampim Gugo. Yes, Mr. Blanson Ampim Gugo is the next awardee as secretary of the chapter and a founding member of the chapter. This is personal. Listen to him now. The next award is to Dr. Osanabo Etienne. His absence, as I see, please can we have a representative for him? Please, you're holding my Lord to ransom. You can't. Thank you so much. Lord, we are very grateful. Thank you. That's that for now. Next award, let's clap my Lord for honoring us. Presence. The next award to be presented by my Lord, Honorable Justice J.M. Kobani, retired. Lord, we ask for your indulgence, seek your indulgence. He was present? Okay, yes, he is. Thank you, my Lord. I think my Lord, having retired, can find comfort with us. Services would be of great and immense value to us as an institute. The next award is to Professor Chukwumere S.A.N., Scientist Apologist. He's not here, but we can have someone represent him, please. Let's put our hands together. Yes. The next award, this time, is to my Lord himself. He's not taking this award in the representative capacity. Go straight to him. In fact, my Lord is the designated ADR judge for the High Court of Rivers State. And it's quite appropriate now that the retired is presenting the award to him. My Lord, Honorable Justice Adolphus Enebeli. It's a personal award, my Lord. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you, Lord, has contributed to this institute and the chapter in several lectures, availability at any time, advice, and many other ways we cannot mention. My Lord, Honorable Justice Thompson is the next awardee, also a founding member of the chapter. We have his representative, sorry, my Lord's representative for the award. The next award goes to my Lord, Honorable Justice Faji of the Federal High Court. He formerly sat here in Port Harcourt and was a founding member of the chapter. Please, let's have a representative for him. Thank you so much. As many may not know, some may not know, arbitration is not the sole, lawyers do not own arbitration. We can lay claim to it solely. So we have also non-lawyers among us, and let it not seem like it's a lawyer's event. You saw a lawyer coming here with campus. She's not regulated by the ROPC in this event. So we have Mr. Henry Omosio, Mr. Arrested Valua, an ardent member of the Chapter Institute. This award goes to him. We We also have a word for Professor Alphonse Amuchias, SAN, fellows, and very many other accolades that goes with his name. Thank you so much. Sir. Thank you, sir. Last but not the least, my own chairman of the planning committee of this 10th anniversary, vice chairman of the chapter, another fellow, Mr. Emeka Onyeka. Beloved, we're very grateful. Thank you so much for doing us this honor. We look forward to in-house. Thank you. Thank you, beloved. We're grateful.
Can you give yourselves another round of applause?
Wonderful guest.
Very quickly, we would like to take the order of photographs. If we have the photograph already, we'll ask the lords at the high table to please step forward so that we can have a good photograph. Everybody at the high table.
Crave your indulgence to please step forward. The judges. Honorable Justice Fiversimai, my lord, and Honorable Justice Sabina, please step forward so we can have our group photograph. Thank you. Give them a round of applause. Very quickly. While my lords are still standing, we would request that the new executives step forward to join in another photograph session with my lords. And the new executives, please come forward very quickly. All the new executives, please. Please step forward. All the executives, newly sworn in executives, please very quickly make your way to the front so we can have the photograph session. Cameraman, please. Please photograph and make sure you're capturing everyone in the picture. Thank you. While we're waiting for that, we would ask the awardees to step forward while the new executives and the old executives will leave the front stage. The awardees come forward so you can have, no, my lords, please. One more picture with the awardees. Yes, my lords. Very quickly, awardees, please step forward. Yes, please. Thank you, my lords. We're grateful. You may please go back to your seats. Thank you, my lords.
Now we move straight to one of the major events that brought us here today, which is commemorative of the anniversary It's important we all know that the theme of this event is arbitration practice in Nigeria, making Port Harcourt a hub. This is a possibility. It is our vision, not a dream, and is realizable. To commemorate this, we have with us, for the first segment of the lecture, Professor Afonso Amuchiazi, SAN, FCIArb, CIArb, FICMC. So you understand when I said fellows. I mean Professor, SAN, fellows. I think we're in for a good afternoon. We'll do welcome him for this lecture. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, my Lord, the Honorable the Chief Judge of River State, ably represented. My Lords, here present, members of CIArb, Chairman, Port Harcourt Chapter, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Before I commence, my Lord, permit me to use this opportunity to congratulate my Lord, my friend, Honorable Justice Florence Febresima. My Lord, congratulations. We haven't seen since you were elevated, although we spoke on phone. And I know this has been in the offing. Once again, you are highly welcome. I have 30 minutes, and I'm going to touch my paper. I won't exactly read it. It's about 20 pages, but I'm going to talk to it. And when I received an invitation from Mr. Emeka Onyeka, inviting me to speak at this anniversary, I was happy, and I want to thank the CIArb Nigeria Branch Port Harcourt Chapter for this invitation. I was asked to speak on the topic, arbitration practice in Nigeria, making Port Harcourt a hub. I told Emeka I was going to take liberty to tweak the topic, but I will still bring in the topic he gave to me. And so I expanded it, and I called it, my paper, Revolutionizing Arbitration Practice in Nigeria for Effective Dispute Resolution. Now, it's divided into parts. And the last part, I'm going to focus on Port Harcourt, like Emeka says I should do. I'm indeed elated at the choice of this topic because this discussion could not have come at a better time. Whether we agree or not, our judicial system is under severe strain, and our judges are finding it difficult to cope with the increasing number of cases before them. We're all aware that in Lagos, a special panel was set up by the Court of Appeal to dispose of 4,630 appeals and 6,207 motions. Of course, without this panel, there's no way such matters can be heard as quickly as possible. And so I've posed the question, how do we save our judicial system from imminent collapse? And how do we save our judges from untimely deaths? Because our judges are under a lot of strain, whether we agree or not. And that's why more often than not, a judge, by the time he or she retires, person is fagged out and worn out. And I have said that ADR and arbitration, I will use them interchangeably, will help to achieve this if they are both properly understood and practiced. I put down a few ideas in writing, and I hope you will find my ideas useful. Of course, arbitration practice over the years has developed in Nigeria. From its modest beginning in the 21st century, it has risen to become an essential aspect of dispute resolution in Nigeria, significantly supplementing the conventional litigation system, which we are all used to. Nevertheless, as it is with every aspect of life, there is always a need for constant restructuring, repositioning, and revolutionizing of the arbitration system to keep it optimally functional and effective as an alternative dispute resolution. Of course, you know arbitration started as an alternative to litigation, and over the years, it has acquired its own attributes. And that's why today, in some parts of the world, especially in the UK, arbitration is separate from the ADR, but in the US, arbitration is regarded as part of the ADR. Of course, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and its disruption of the normal function of established systems and way of life has further emphasized the need for instituting a flexible approach to dispute resolution that is adaptive to changing situations, legal environments, and socio-political upheavals and uncertainties. Despite the growth of arbitration in Nigeria, there are still noticeable gaps in its structure and operations, which continues to reduce its implementation in a system accustomed to the conventional mechanisms of dispute resolution. I hope to share some of my personal experiences with you as I go along. And so the most important of these challenges and how to restructure the system to overcome them are challenges I discuss below. The first I refer to as non-visibility of arbitration. Despite the popularity in quotes of arbitration, the fact remains that arbitration is not at the level where it should be to make it accessible for the resolution of everyday disputes. And where arbitration practice is less visible, citizens will lean more towards conventional litigation to resolve their disputes. That is why, like I said earlier on, our courts are congested. And everyday matters, like my Lord said a few minutes ago, that should be resolved via arbitration or ADR find themselves or find their ways into the court system. And part of the problem, or part of the reason, is because we also, as lawyers, many lawyers are unaware of the importance and advantages of arbitration. I'm going to share a lot of personal experiences I had, even one I had as about 3 weeks ago, which I shared with Emeka. And it just tells you the level of ignorance, even amongst practitioners, even amongst legal practitioners, of the practice of arbitration. And so I've made the point that at the moment, arbitration is used mostly for business and commercial disputes, with little focus on individual disputes, and the perception of arbitration as a business dispute resolution mechanism will continue to restrict the frequency of its use. And of course, with this reduced frequency, the legal framework would be slow to develop effective framework for regulating the practice, because the focus will still remain on the litigation aspect of our practice. To tackle this problem, there is need for a reformation of the way arbitration practice is presented to the citizens as a solution for everyday disputes. And this reformation must commence from the training of legal practitioners, amongst others. We can question why the judicial system in Nigeria remains clogged with cases that could easily be resolved through arbitration. We can question why our courts remain the first avenue for disputes between individuals, corporations, and against agencies and parastatals, when these disputes are suitable for arbitration. We can question why, despite the best of intentions, there have been fewer international arbitrations. There are few international arbitrations taking place in Nigeria, with Nigeria as the place of arbitration. Of course, without an effective framework for arbitration in Nigeria, arbitration will remain unattractive for both domestic and international arbitration. And this will serve to defeat the goal of entrenching arbitration as a foundational dispute resolution system in the country. At the root of the adoption of arbitration by parties is the need for speed, timeliness, reduced costs, greater party autonomy, and maintenance of business or personal relationship between the parties. The arbitration system to satisfy these goals has to be effective and attractive to parties or to disputing parties in Nigeria. And so I'm going to highlight very briefly some of the key areas that, in my view, require restructuring and how some of these reformations can be achieved. I will also examine the key challenges facing the revolutionization of the arbitration system in Nigeria and how these challenges can also be overcome. And finally, I'm going to examine ways in which Port Harcourt, as one of the biggest metropolitan cities in Nigeria, can be optimally positioned as a hub of arbitration practice in the country. And so I look at the key areas of arbitration, key areas of restructuring. Arbitration practice in Nigeria has over the years experienced several bottlenecks that have hindered its effectiveness as a dispute resolution system. While some of these challenges are an extension of wider socio-economic and legal shortcomings in Nigeria, others are specific to ADR systems and the number of practitioners at the universities and the law school. Of course, I've made the point which many universities have adopted now, that arbitration practice should be integrated into our university and law school curriculum, the way civil litigation practice is currently integrated into legal training. It's not just enough to teach arbitration. I've been teaching arbitration for about 19 years or 20 years, and that's why I did my PhD in the university. And what I've tried to do when I teach my students is not just to teach them the theory. I also try to share a lot of practical experiences with them and let them understand that there's a lot of difference between theory and practice. And I think it's very important that the earlier we integrate this into our curriculum in the universities and at the law school, assisting from what we have now, it will go a long way in helping to educate lawyers about the importance of not just arbitration, but ADR systems. And so I've argued that while lawyers are extensively taught on the rules of court and all civil procedure rules, a majority of them finish their legal training without basic knowledge or understanding of how arbitration and other ADR systems work. Like I said, I also teach. And in my class at the moment, arbitration in my school is a 40 course. I just have 20 students, undergraduates. And the postgraduate, I have 5 students. So you can then imagine in a class of, in a set of 180 students, you have just about 20 students who understand what arbitration is all about. While I do not advocate that it must be made compulsory, but I think we can come up with other ways of ensuring that even if students do not select arbitration or ADR as a course they want to write an exam in, they should also be able to attend the lectures and understand the fundamentals of such arbitration practice. Secondly, arbitration practice, like it has been done now, should be integrated into the court system at the state and federal levels. We're all aware that the Court of Appeal, Federal High Court, National Industrial Court, and some state high courts have all established arbitration and ADR centers within the court system. The problem, however, remains that despite establishment of ADR centers, those centers are heavily underutilized. For the National Industrial Court, Commission of Legal Year, sometime in October or thereabouts. And in his address, the president of the court made the point that despite the existence of an ADR center in the National Industrial Court, the center has not been effectively utilized. And why is this so? I'm going to go to that later on. Part of the problem stems from the attitude of lawyers who are unable to advise their clients appropriately. And so it's important that courts in other states should also incorporate this strategy, because not only does it enhance the profile and visibility of arbitration/ADR, also entrenches arbitration practice within the dispute resolution framework in the states. I've also looked at arbitration and technology. Of course, the COVID era has done us a lot, and it's very important that without technology, we cannot make any meaningful progress. At the moment, I'm involved in arbitration hearings with Rebecca, your vice chairman, and the bulk of our hearings have been done online. It's quite innovative. Fortunately, we had counsel to the parties who agreed with the tribunal when we suggested that the hearing could be conducted online. And we found it quite interesting because it has also reduced costs. For example, I didn't have to travel away from Abuja to Port Harcourt to come and conduct a plenary meeting. The other arbitrator didn't have to go all the way from where he is to Port Harcourt. We had a plenary meeting online. And many of these matters were resolved online. And for one of the arbitrations we have, the way things are going is going to be a document only we wouldn't need to have witnesses. And we also agree that if that is the case, again, we don't need to have a physical hearing. That way, a lot of money is saved. So that when you also give your bill, the parties will not complain that the cost of proceedings have become too high. I'm going to touch on that because the impression people get is that arbitration is very expensive, and I say it is not. When we look at it holistically, it remains much, much cheaper than litigation. So the use of technology in arbitration practice, like we all know, can include the use of emails, which we all do now, and other electronic communications between and among the parties, the storage of information for access by the parties and the tribunal using portable office storage media, the use of software and media to present the parties' respective cases in an electronic format rather than a paper format, and the adoption of hearing room technologies, which we have done recently, and the resort to online arbitration systems for resolution of disputes online, the growing world of e-commerce activities. When used effectively, technology can help the parties to an arbitration to save time and costs, and to ensure that arbitration is managed and conducted efficiently. For example, since the ICC Commission on Arbitration and ADR's task force on the use of information technology in international arbitration first reported on this subject in 2004, the use and acceptance of IT in arbitration has substantially increased, and advances in technology have led to solutions that previously were not readily available or technically mature. So there are endless possibilities with using technology to practice or to engage in the practice of arbitration. But the point has been made also that the adoption and incorporation of IT into our practice has to be carefully managed, because if it is poorly managed, IT can also increase time and cost, or even in the worst of cases, result in unfair treatment of a party. Because we know the challenges we face with poor network coverage, and these are challenges we also have to take into consideration when we are using IT. Then I also spoke about the expansion of the scope of arbitration and disputes covered. Today, like I said earlier on, as far as we are concerned, arbitration is used mainly for business and commercial transactions. But arbitration is open to a variety of disputes, also related to construction disputes, intellectual property disputes, and environmental disputes. Indeed, I want to say that one of the most interesting areas of practice is construction arbitration. I am a fellow of the Society of Construction Industry Arbitrators, and after I underwent the training, when I started and also when I got the fellowship, I found it quite interesting. And I can tell you, for those of us who all want to practice, that when you handle one or two construction arbitration matters, and frankly, you're going to run away from litigation because the fees are good. That's the truth. And I've done one, I'm involved in one at the moment. And frankly, like Rebecca knows, for quite some time now, I do what I call select litigation. I'm going to come to that. Instead of keeping yourself, every day we bog ourselves down in court, and we don't want cases to move forward. But whether we agree or not, arbitration remains one of the best ways. I'm sure my co-presenter will agree with me. Most construction contracts will always have a dispute resolution clause. And in such clauses, you could either resort to what they call a dispute resolution board or mediation, and where that fails, eventually it comes to arbitration. And they are very particular about it. And it's an area I'm also going to encourage a lot of lawyers to get into. It's very technical, but it's very interesting. And if you're lucky, you get one or two good briefs there. I'm sure I'm going to run away from litigation and say, I don't want to go to court anymore. Anyway, okay. So, like I said, in Nigeria, most disputes that are referred to arbitration, most, not all, are usually commercial disputes. And then, of course, a few construction disputes. And this reinforces the general perception of arbitration as a dispute system for business and commercial disputes, and limits the ability of arbitration to permeate the basic rubrics of the society, where it should be positioned as an alternative dispute resolution system for ordinary citizens in their daily disputes. Indeed, I've always made the point that every day we practice arbitration, sometimes without knowing. When we resolve matters, when we refer matters to persons we respect to resolve on our behalf, and we agree that those persons are persons whose decisions we have to abide with, we've already entered into an arbitration agreement, albeit a submission agreement. And I think more effort should be made to ensure that arbitration as a means of resolving not just commercial disputes, what I call everyday individual disputes is encouraged in the country. It is possible for us to promote arbitration or ADR like it happens now to resolve matrimonial and other common small-scale disputes that are often taken to the regular courts. I will then look at reforming the legal framework of arbitration in Nigeria. Remember, we are looking at how we can revolutionize the practice of arbitration in Nigeria. And like we all know, for all of us who are in practice, it's a good news. The Nigerian Arbitration and Mediation Bill has been before the National Assembly. And this bill has incorporated recent trends from the Austral Model Law that was amended in 2006 and the Austral Arbitration Rules of 2010, and several other rules which have come into existence, which came into existence after our Act of 1988 was promulgated then as a decree. There is need for regulatory reforms of the legal framework, and it is my hope and that very soon the National Assembly will have to pass the Arbitration and Mediation Bill so that we can bring our laws up to modern trends. A lot of work went into that bill, and I do know that efforts are on to push the National Assembly to ensure that the bill is passed and then assented by the President. And the next I will call reducing the litigation of arbitration proceedings. I'm going to share a short story with you. 3 weeks ago, I published an award, and I shared the story where I had some challenges. I called Emeka and we put our heads together. I was involved in arbitration where I was the presiding arbitrator, where I presided. My co-arbitrators, one of the co-arbitrators is a senior advocate, not just a senior advocate, but a senior advocate. Let me put it that way. But this was his first practice. He had not done arbitration before. My co-arbitrator had never done arbitration before. So I was the one. And I always have someone I use as my registrar. I stay more in Abuja. So we came from Abuja, it was in the east, and so we traveled. And papers were filed, things were exchanged. We commenced hearing in January. One day, hearing finished. That's the good thing about arbitration practice. But I always insist that once I get into a hearing, I let you know from day one, we're going to be here till 9 p.m. So you prepare your mind. Whenever we finish, we finish. Worst case, we have a second day. So we had planned for a 2-day hearing, but fortunately, we finished everything in 1 day. And the parties were given timelines. They agreed within which to file their final addresses. Of course, this was put in the procedural order. And then we left. Of course, which is always the case. The parties didn't comply with the timelines. But to cut a long story short, the final process was filed on 23rd of June, 2020. And I began to write my address. My award, sorry. And I finished my award on September 8th, 2020, which I shared with my co-arbitrators. Unfortunately, most unfortunately, my senior learned brother, who was nominated by the claimants, shared the award, the draft award, with the claimants. Most unfortunately. And we had spoken, and we raised some issues, and I said to him, I said, my brother, some of these points we've made, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He said, okay, I agree with you, I see where you're coming from. And to my surprise, 2 days after, I flew to Enugu, and as soon as I came out from the aircraft, I got a call from him. He says, my little brother Silk, have you seen the email I sent to you? I said, no. He said, please check your email. So I put on my phone, I saw the email, I said, okay, I see where this man is coming from. Like I told Emeka, looking at what he sent to me, it was very clear that was not his language. Because I knew the brethren who was counsel for the claimant, and I know his language, someone I know very well. I said, okay, no problem. We finished. And then just before we are, let me just say that on the day of hearing, when we closed proceedings, we had said that the word will be published as quickly as possible on condition that the parties fulfill their financial obligation. That was agreed. And so while we are waiting, I mean, the claimant have paid, the respondent, the state is involved, and they had their processes to go through. And while we are waiting, I was in my office in Enugu, and on a Friday evening, and I was called by one of my juniors. He said, okay, I said, matter here on which you have been sued. I said, me? How? I don't understand. I said, okay, I'm going to the office. But it turned out that the claimant went to court and filed an application in court seeking an order of court for leave to disband the arbitral tribunal. I smiled because the problem is that at the time this was being done, I had shared a draft award with them. They had made his impute and sent to me. And so I just smiled. I said, oh, too bad. This man, I'm going to teach him that I understand this thing better than he does. But the problem they faced was that they didn't know how to come out to say that they had seen the award. You can't say that. I knew they had seen the award. You can't say that. And what they didn't want was for the award to come out. They wanted what I wanted published. So I consulted a couple of very much more experienced arbitrators, and I say, see, I also saw the letter. And everyone asked me one question. In fact, I got an authority, the authority I saw. They said, Prof, is there an injunction? I said, no, it's not. So go ahead and publish your award. Since there's no injunction, this is arbitration, and it's not litigation. I want to be on the safe side. And I just saw a case, I was just reading 3 days ago, Stabilini, and two other cases, where the Court of Appeal says, look, like we all know, this is different from litigation. And so, of course, while this was going on, the other party completed payment. Of course, I published my award. And then I then put a reason for the absence of his signature. And while this was going on, my little brother said, okay, it's so unfortunate. Now, filed an application and wrote me a letter saying, I hereby resign because I don't want to be in court with the man who nominated me. I don't know if you're following me. Of course, so where is the independence and impartiality? So he made it very clear that, of course, he was there to protect a specific interest. But that made me very happy because I said he has saved me a lot of hassle. So I published my award, I put the reason for absence of his signature, and noted it, and also next made the point that I had shared the draft award with him on XYZ dates. And I next his comments to the draft award. I published my award. I've taken that off me. But I feel bad because the latest new advocate, very senior one, who is lawyer for the claimant, was doing everything possible to scuttle the process. And for very flimsy grounds, Emeka knows the details. And I said, and that's a part of the challenge we're having, because we have now turned arbitration, we are into litigation. Now, why don't lawyers should also learn to exercise some patience. If at the end of the day you think the award is against you, then apply to court to set aside. But setting aside should not be the next step. But what lawyers now do is that we tell clients, oh, don't worry, let them finish now. When they finish, you go and apply to set aside. That is very wrong. I had another arbitration where I finished, again I presided, like again you are aware, and after that award was made, again the state government was involved. They saw me at the function and refused to greet me. And I went, I shook their hands. I said, oh, why are you behaving like small children? Yeah, I was just doing my job. That's all. There are no sentiments in this thing. So a lot of lawyers haven't quite understood how arbitration works. They see it as the next step towards litigation. And so like the example I just shared with you, I feel sad because these are two men I respect. And all the things they've done. And then my juniors, when I was talking to my junior who was always, I said, see. My juniors were so shocked. They said, sir, is that the way it operates? I said, no, it's not the way it operates. They don't want the process to move forward. But unfortunately, because they don't understand how it operates, it would have been a terrible thing if we hadn't concluded our hearing. But we have concluded our hearing, the panel addresses everything, and my award was ready, which I shared with other parties, my co-arbitrators. Most unfortunately, my co-arbitrator shared it with the party that appointed, the nominated him, which was very bad. So, I've said that although sections 4 and 5 for the ACA attempts to discourage the practice of litigating disputes or result to arbitration, lawyers have found ways to open the arbitration process to end litigation, frustrating the process and rendering it ineffective. So that's why when you hear people sometimes say, arbitration, I don't want this arbitration thing, I beg, I don't want it, please. Why would I waste money going to arbitration and after we end up in court again? That's why I say there is need for us to sensitize lawyers and make lawyers understand that it's important for us if we want this country, and I'm going to come to that eventually, to be above of arbitration practice. Of course, like I said, when the process is allowed to continue to its conclusion, the enforcement of arbitral awards usually often become just another venue for litigation, as the unsuccessful party attempts every trick in the book to frustrate the enforcement of the award and ensures it becomes stuck in long drawn-out battles in court. I want to commend my lord. I was when I was listening to Clifford and the efforts judges in River State are making to encourage the principal arbitration. Now, 2 days ago, my Lord Honorable Justice Faji of the Federal High Court gave a judgment ruling in an application to set aside an award. That award was rendered last year. Now, when I now saw Honorable Justice Faji's name, I know him personally. When I saw that she was here and it was a pioneer member, I said, okay, I can understand why that application, that process didn't waste time in his court. Because he understands. And I'm happy a lot of our judges are going to get involved in the process of arbitration. They understand what it's all about. Because like I always say, if I'm a judge, I have an application before me to enforce or set aside. I'm going to give you 5 days. Come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Come and argue your application. But if we follow this normal chain, okay, come today, we'll take a date, 3 months, 4 months, the courts are congested. And lawyers are taking advantage of that, try to frustrate the process. But by the time lawyers become aware that you want to enforce an award, and between the High Court and Supreme Court, for example, you're going to spend like 6 months or 1 year. We have advocated that we need to even amend our Court of Appeal, what do you call it? The Court of Appeal Act, to reduce the timeline for filing appeals in respect of applications to set aside or enforce. There isn't anything to file. When you're filing. Once you have your what do you call it? The arbitration agreement, the award, it's a certified true copy, and of course you have the ruling, certified ruling in the High Court. That's that. So the 45, 16 days that we need can be also cut short. And of course, the criticalities in the court can also be done away with. That is the only way we can also attract what we need. If we don't do it that way, then we're going to run into a lot of difficulties, which we've run into now. And so, before I end, let me now look at the third chapter, the third part of my paper, which is making Port Harcourt a hub of arbitration practice in Nigeria. There's no doubt Port Harcourt is one of the biggest metropolitan cities in Nigeria. It boasts of an area of infrastructural and human development capital that places it as an ideal location for arbitration practice in Nigeria. However, beyond its size, population, and regional importance, turning the city into an arbitration hub must take account of the key elements that render cities attractive to arbitrators and parties. These key elements are factors that have made the leading arbitration hubs globally occupy pride of place and most prominent arbitration venues. Of course, we all know in Nigeria that after Port Harcourt, after Lagos, Port Harcourt comes next. But like I said to someone yesterday, Port Harcourt has not really gotten there. And I'm happy that CIArb is interested in seeing how Port Harcourt can actually get there and bring a lot of business into Port Harcourt. I was happy when I heard this morning, I didn't know about it, that the River State Arbitration Law was signed into law by the governor in 2019. But again, it's not outside there. I'm just reading it for the first time. But when Lagos did its own, the news was everywhere. I can bet you that if you go around and ask most people, I think one of the judges here said so. People are unaware, and I'm sure, because it's 2019, I'm sure it's going to be a very modern arbitration law, no doubt about it. If not the most modern arbitration law we have in Nigeria today, because Lagos was 2009 and Port Harcourt is 2019. So I'm sure it will be more current than that of Lagos. But I think there is need to throw it out there so that people get to know that, oh, we have this arbitration law, which is very current, the most current arbitration law in Nigeria, which is out there. So that takes care of my first point about Port Harcourt, River State having a federal arbitration law, since that has come into place. The second point is that there is need to have state-of-the-art infrastructural facilities. And making Port Harcourt an arbitration hub requires revamping the transmission system within the city to make it easy for easy connection and movements around the city. This is a place I come to from time to time because my younger sister is here, she lives here. And I must say that when I passed on my way to the hotel yesterday, when I passed the flyover at, I think, Garrison, I found it interesting. And I believe that by the time the other flyovers are completed, hopefully they will help to ease movements around the city. Of course, other social amenities are all here, like hotels and industrial halls within the city, must also be guaranteed to ensure that arbitral parties find the city a comfortable and sociable place to conduct the arbitration proceedings. Of course, the international airport is there, so it's easy for foreign visitors to access the city. Port Harcourt is a strong economic center, and that is one of the ways in which it can attract foreign investment. It is an important economic center nationally and boasts of strong economic potential in attracting leading companies to its jurisdiction. It therefore possesses the economic strength to establish itself as an arbitration powerhouse. What is important, however, is that the economy of the city is further strengthened with a focus on attracting, although I know most of them are here, leading national and multinational corporations to be based in the city. Now, the major challenge, I also think that we have here, of course, that is beyond, I know, this year, and I'm aware that efforts are also being made, is the issue of security. Security remains a major problem. Of course, it's a national problem now in Nigeria, and you can hardly travel to anywhere now without hearing one story or the other of security. But I think that is one area in which I hope that the government will really take steps to solve the security situation or to improve on the security situation. But in doing that, it's not just even enough, like we discussed yesterday, to have policemen and soldiers everywhere. I think there is need, which I think the government is doing now, to also ensure that the youths are better engaged. Many of these things come through enlightenment. Because the truth is that once a foreigner comes in and people decide to use Port Harcourt, for example, as a venue of arbitration, and once they come in and they find it uninteresting or they find it unsafe, they don't want to come back a second time. I even have an arbitration now with, again, I'm sitting presiding with Emeka as a co-arbitrator. We have two actually. And one of them, the place of arbitration is Bayelsa. But I won't tell you a lie, and that was what the parties put in their agreement. The clause that the place of arbitration shall be Bayelsa. And as soon as I saw it, my heart jumped out. It's natural. I called my brother-in-law, who married my sister from Bayelsa. I said, I beg, is it possible to travel to Bayelsa from here? I prefer to come to Port Harcourt. He started laughing. He says, don't worry, there's no problem. But frankly, I was prepared to decline because of that fear of security. But what my brother-in-law assured me, he says, when you're ready, just let me know. I'll provide you with a vehicle that will take you to Bayelsa. So just to give you an idea of what security can do to a city, it can make it very, very unattractive. Finally, there is also the need to have institutional arbitration centers. I don't know if they are here in Port Harcourt. We all know about institutional arbitration and ad hoc arbitration. And what happens is that most of the arbitrations we have are ad hoc arbitration, but sometimes you could decide to also conduct them within the premises of an institution. In Abuja, for example, we have Ibayojo Center, and where I've had a hearing, all you need to do is just to move in there, provide everything, pay your fees, pay your administrative fees, and get your secretary, you sit down there and you run the process. So it saves you the hassle of going to go and rent a place, to go and prepare, what do you call it, prepare for lunch, etc., etc. We also have that by JK Gansama. These are places people use regularly. I don't know if there's one in Port Harcourt, but I think it's very important to have one. And I can bet you, you're going to attract a lot. Sometime this year, in fact, since last year, we've been going around, I've been with a group of full arbitrators, trying to sensitize people on the need to use arbitration as a means of resolving disputes. You can imagine what will happen if Port Harcourt has all this. Most of the disputes you have, and our bar is close by. I always tell traders, I said, why do you want to rush to court all the time? Why do you have to go to a policeman or policemen to resolve disputes? Because eventually you go to the police, you give them money, they collect money, but at the end of the day, the matter is still not resolved. And I think with our bar as a hub, the court will soak a lot of the disputes which arise in our bar. But the only way that can be done is if also sensitization is taken to Port Harcourt, so that taken to Aba, so that lawyers and businessmen in Aba will understand the necessity and importance of having arbitration clauses in their agreements. We've done that in Onitsha. We've been trying to do that. We've gone to Onitsha a couple of times, trying to talk to traders and letting them know the importance of having arbitration or ADR clauses in their agreements. Most of the times, what you see is a situation where agreements are badly drafted, and then when disputes arise, all they have to do is either they go to zone 13 for Anambra State as it is now, or they rush to court. But by the time we begin to educate ourselves too, we lawyers, like my lord said, one of the judges said this morning, we also educate your members. The members can also educate the populace and make them understand the importance and the need to have their disputes resolved via arbitration. Arbitration remains very viable in Nigeria. It's yet growing, and it will yet get to greater heights. So I say that arbitration practice in Nigeria, by way of conclusion, is an important dispute resolution mechanism that must be restructured and revolutionized to make it operate optimally as a viable alternative to litigation. Although the cost of arbitration in Nigeria continues to grow, there are signs that Nigeria is becoming a regional hub for arbitration within the African continent. Several challenges, however, need to be overcome to establish our country as an attractive destination for arbitration. Dakar, like I mentioned, is an emerging metropolitan city in Nigeria, a very big one at that, with a strong economic base and the potential to become an arbitration hub. However, the study of global and regional arbitration hubs show that there are important steps that must be taken to make the city attractive to arbitral parties. Again, I emphasize the need to have an arbitration center. That will do a lot of good here. These steps include that we now have modern arbitration laws, federal policies and incentives for arbitration conducted within the state, improving the fiscal facility within the city. Of course, we know the matter of security and establishing an institutional arbitration center in the city. Overall, the most important duty to revolutionize arbitration practice in Nigeria and to attract practice in Port Harcourt rests on lawyers and arbitration practitioners. Lawyers are often at the forefront of practices that undermine the efficacy of arbitration practice in Nigeria. Most notably, unnecessary litigation of arbitration proceedings and failing to appropriately advise clients on the availability of arbitration for the resolution of their disputes. Again, I had another arbitration where, again, I presided. And 3 days to the hearing, the registrar received an email from the claimant's counsel And that was the first time I was seeing that. From the Claimants Council, saying that he had a preliminary objection to the decision of the tribunal. Yeah, I hadn't seen that before. So we got to our venue, we traveled from Abuja, we got to the venue. Someone said, I have an objection. You don't have jurisdiction. I said, you're the claimant. You entered into the arbitration agreement, yes. You gave it to arbitration, yes. You nominated an arbitrator, yes. The two of them, and then appointed me as the third arbitrator. You say you have a objection to arbitration. I said, okay, session 12, no problem. Go ahead. What will happen is that you take your objection and we're going to decide. Two options. Either we decide before, either we decide immediately, or we take it at the end. But that will depend. The matter of practice, if I think your objection is very strong, I'd rather take it immediately so that I don't want to take someone's money and then tomorrow it will turn out that I shouldn't have done that. However, when he moved his objection, his application, because he had served us. I mean, I'd already done my ruling and I shared with my colleagues who all agreed with me. And so I waited. So that whenever he finishes, we are going to render our interim award on the issue of jurisdiction. Unfortunately, while we were at the hearing, and I found this very disturbing, it turned out that counsel for respondents said there was a certain part of the document. This was a construction arbitration, and that is bundle of documents that they had. If you know what constitutes the entire contract, the construction agreement, so many documents. It now turned out, which he didn't even know. We now discovered that the arbitration, the entire contract had 4 different arbitration clauses. And that was as a result of a study job done by officials of the Ministry of Justice. So they took clauses, they just lifted clauses. They took an ICC clause, they took a clause from LCIA, they put different clauses in the entire agreement. So we now discovered that ourselves. On that basis that we had to terminate everything, because even the Claimants Council didn't even know about that. Well, after everything, I now saw him one day. I said, senior, again, senior advocate. I said, senior, why? I don't understand this thing. I was confused. Because when I saw that, again, I called some senior people. I said, please, though, see my case. I haven't seen this kind of case before. They said, is it Claimants Council or is it Claimant? They said, I remember police are saying, this one is new. I haven't seen this one before. Okay, let's hear him out and see what he has to say. Hear him out. So I called him, I said, senior, why did you, I don't understand. Forget about what we discovered subsequently, but why did you have to, you tried to thwart the entire process? Why? So, boy, this man hasn't paid me, that's why. Yeah. You know, and if I tell you, okay, Mecca has gone out, again, I discussed that with the Mecca. The issue was what was at stake. Let me just end with that. The clause said this. Opinions, I'm sure opinions will be divided when I finish this now, but I'll also lay my own views. The clause provided any disputes or difference arising out of or in accordance with this agreement shall be resolved by arbitration under the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, Cap A18, 2004, Laws of Nigeria. The claimant will nominate an arbitrator, my own words now, the respondent will nominate an arbitrator, and the two will nominate a third arbitrator / umpire. I don't know if you're with me. The two will nominate a third arbitrator / umpire. Those were the words, substantially. So he said, the umpire, that it means that I, as the third arbitrator, am also serving as an umpire. That was the argument. I said no. Well, this was the answer letter. And when the panel discussed, we all took the same position. And we said no. In fact, I think one of us disagreed. And we tried to make a distinction. And I tried to make a distinction between saying, appointing a third arbitrator who shall serve as an umpire, and appointing a third arbitrator / umpire. Semantic. But for me, that's a distinction. That's my own view. In other words, the way I took it, and the way two of the 3-member panel took it, either a person will be a third arbitrator or an umpire. Assisting from where a third arbitrator who will serve as an umpire. Because the umpire system is unknown to our jurisdiction. Because the umpire system means that at the end, when the two arbitrators don't agree, the umpire sits as a sole arbitrator to render an award. It's different from our system. So that was the argument he came up with. And I got an authority from the UK. It's on my phone. From the UK, where such a matter had come up, and the HOL, although they feel that this was merely a semantic quibble, because the point is that, one, the parties intended that the law that will govern the proceeding will be the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 2004. Another act, there's separation from umpire. So the fact I say /umpire does not mean, in my view, that they meant the third arbitrator who will serve as an umpire. Well, that was my view anyway, but eventually, like I said, for other reasons, we had to. And eventually, when we spoke, he admitted to me, he said, Prof, actually, I agree with you, as we're now discussing, but the point that, because I hadn't got my money, I wanted to make sure that I killed the process. So I've said again, that overall, the most important duty to arbitration practice in Nigeria and indeed in Port Harcourt, like I said, will rest on lawyers and arbitration practitioners. Lawyers are often at the forefront of practices, okay, I said this earlier, undermine the efficacy of arbitration practice in Nigeria, most notably the unnecessary litigation of arbitration proceedings and failing to appropriately advise clients on the availability of arbitration for resolution of their disputes. This problem can be traced to the manner of legal training of lawyers in Nigeria, which overwhelmingly focuses on civil procedures of the regular court systems and little or no training on arbitration or other ADR systems. This kills the perception of lawyers in general litigation, even the smallest dispute that could easily be resolved through arbitration. At the root of the specializing arbitration process in Nigeria is therefore the restructuring of the legal training of lawyers, and as part of the continued training of lawyers, to embed arbitration practice within their core legal skills and reduce the over-reliance on litigation by legal practitioners. Port Harcourt remains one of the most dominant cities in Nigeria, and Port Harcourt can be an arbitration hub. The concerted efforts are taken to improve or to implement suggestions made. Port Harcourt, I am sure within the next 5 to 10 years, will compete favorably with Lagos as an arbitration hub. Thank you very much for listening.
That was seasoning and souring. I'm sure after this lecture, we probably don't even need the lunch anymore. Well, on the light side, I think I kept hearing Emeka. Emeka has something to declare. I want to be part of that team.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Elena Desian, for showing us a pathway, discovering greatness as a chapter. Took on board, Port Harcourt has the economic strength to become an arbitration powerhouse. I'm sure my chairman of the chapter has that dream and will work to achieve it. We're very grateful. We will further recognize the presence of another eminent personality that came in, my Lord Honorable Justice L.T. Senewo. Please let's put our hands together for him. We're happy to have you. Our high table is very rich, but we would also want it to be more expanded and diverse. So we would crave the indulgences of my lords. I see a resistance to my application. I don't know if, as my lord pleases. We would, in a light mood, move to a program, which is, we have some movie tickets, we have some MBA dinner tickets, and we want people to have access to these things. And I'm sure it's just be a little game time for us. I seek the leave of my lords
that we just she's on. I'm sorry, I have the direction of the chairman of the occasion to proceed to the second lecture, but noting that your questions for the first lecture can be, you can put them down and just wait, because we're going to take all the questions together. The first and second lecture questions will be taken together. So put down your questions, get yourself prepared, move straight to the second lecture to be delivered by Mr. Henry Omosio. Let's put our hands together for him. He comes forward. While we'll invite the representative of the President of the Customary Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice L.T. Senewo, to come forward to the high table. Thank you. The President of the Customary Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Christina A. Gabriel Mwako, is represented by my Lord, Honorable Justice L.T. Senewo. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I would like to observe the existing protocols. Since time is fast spent, my paper today is on arbitration practice in Nigeria, making Port Harcourt a hub, the role of estate surveyors and valuers. A lot of arbitrators and lawyers and judges don't have interact with estate surveyors and valuers, because whatever we really do is in real estate. I gave some papers, but will be shared around shortly. The paper is just about 5 or 6 pages, really dwelling on the role of estate surveyors and valuers that can play in arbitration. First, real estate is a basic requirement for man's existence and activities on earth. This is true to real estate in Nigeria, where it forms the nucleus of the social, political, and economic development. However, conflicts and disputes arise in the course of real estate transactions. And litigation, as the last speaker said, a lot of people go to litigation first and deploy to adjudicate in such matters. Regrettably, litigation as a mechanism for dispute resolution has proven itself rather counterproductive, especially for time-based commercial transactions, given its slow and time-wasting processes. Let us now be positive and investigate what other routes are available to resolve parties' disputes absent litigation. Overview of real estate in Nigeria. Real estate is the heart of the country's economy, and every activity revolves around it. The real estate sector is a major catalyst of economic activity and investment, and drives the growth of other sectors of the nation's economy. Real estate involves land acquisition, development of infrastructure such as railways, roads, bridges, airports, pipelines, refineries, gas plants, fertilizer plants, seaports, residential, commercial, industrial, and recreational facilities, which forms the indices for measuring the economic growth of the nation. Nigeria is Africa's biggest economy, with a reported population which is constantly changing of over 200 million, the continent's most populous country. As the recent concrete ideas seminar held in October 2020, the Minister of Works was reported and said that there are over 200,000 kilometers of roads in Nigeria, with federal government roads being about 35,000 kilometers, and states and local government having 165,000 kilometers. As investment in real estate is colossal, nationally and internationally, the only way to sustain the expected return on such massive investment is by systemized and coordinated management. This is where the services will be provided by the estates surveyor and value. Many construction projects such as railway lines, oil and gas infrastructure, and other building and road projects are in the realm of real estate, which are classified as construction contracts, and disputes in such sectors are handled most times through arbitration. Now, I'll just talk briefly. Most people hear arbitration about what arbitration is all about. What really is arbitration? Arbitration is a form of dispute resolution that is widely used both in international fora and in this country for certain forms of disputes where arbitration has long been built into the parties' relationships. Construction contracts are routinely decided by arbitration, as are rent review clauses, to give two examples. The benefits of arbitration are evident, and sound in flexibility, autonomy, expertise, and costs. The parties are in charge of their own procedure and may agree such fundamentals matters as whether there should be a hearing and what evidence should be given. They can pick the expert or tribunal of their choice rather than having, with due respect, rather than have an inexperienced judge foisted upon them. They will not be slapped. They can control the date and pace of their proceedings. They will not be slapped down if they fail to file their cost budget 7 days before the cost budget case management is decided. Indeed, it is highly unlikely that they will decide to indulge in such wasteful procedural hurdles. In the first place, it is more unlikely that an arbitrator will impose them. Equally significantly, they will achieve a much greater degree of finality that they can expect in court. The opportunities to appeal an arbitral decision are much more constrained under the Arbitration and Conciliatory Act, Cap 18, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. And the need to appeal or review an arbitrator's decision arises far less frequently than it does in disputes decided by a judge at the first instance, since the arbitrator can be chosen precisely for his or her expertise in the subject matter of the dispute. There appear to me a number of reasons why people prefer arbitration, and two of them are privacy and expert tribunal. Expertise may be a very important matter in property disputes, as many disputes involve technical issues, and some of such disputes are assigned to judges with little or no experience whatsoever in property disputes. Other types of ADRO are we have negotiation, mediation, reconciliation, and expert determination. In negotiation, the skill of effective negotiation is not only critical to commercial contracts, partnership agreements, and problem solving, but also to how nations trade, manage conflicts, and promote their economies. Negotiation involves discussions between two or more parties in order to reach agreement on matters of mutual concern. This is one of the recognized methods of alternative dispute resolution. Mediation, on the other hand, is the name given to confidential progress where parties to a dispute invite a neutral individual to facilitate negotiations between them with a view to achieving a resolution of their dispute. Mediation seeks to present parties with a flexible form of dispute resolution, in which the options for settlement that may be brought into account go far and wide beyond the particular issues dividing the parties. Often the claimant will want something that the combative slug of litigation will be unable to deliver. It's just an apology, which is an acknowledgement that pain has been caused. The downside to litigation, however, is the fact that it may not and often does not lead to finality, since the mediator has no power to impose a solution and the parties are free to walk away and continue their litigation. Moreover, from experience, mediation favors the weaker party in the dispute, as any conscientious lawyer will advise the stronger party that it must be prepared to concede. Some often a great deal of his legislative claim in order to dispose of the dispute by mediation. In most cases, mediation process is deployed cynically for one or more of a number of ulterior purposes to satisfy the court that ADRO has been tried. Mediation often therefore becomes an additional step in the litigation rather than truly an alternative means of dispute resolution. It can work in certain circumstances, particularly where the real dispute involves individuals and emotions rather than commercial entities and balance sheets. The other form of expert resolution is expert determination. Unlike the traditional dispute resolution methods, expert determination is an alternative method which can help improve the relationships and opinions are handled to save time and cost. In expert determination, the determinator takes an active role, not like the other traditional mechanisms, where the resolver is deciding on evidence. Here, the resolver has to make the investigations, research, and like to achieve resolution to the dispute. It's a more equitable method where parties may be underrepresented or not have equal representation to the other party. Now come to the role of the estate surveyor and valuer in arbitration. Expertise is a very important matter in property disputes, as many disputes involve technical issues, and some of such disputes are assigned to judges with no experience whatsoever in property disputes. When performing their function, the arbitrators are participating in the rule of law. They are giving evidence, they are giving effect to the parties' contract in accordance with the substantive and procedural legal principles. If they perform and appear to perform that role honestly, impartially, expeditiously, and openly, confidence in the rule of law will be maintained. Rent review clauses in leases routinely stipulate that valuation disputes should be arbitrated by a chartered surveyor who is appointed by the President of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors in the UK, and in Nigeria by the President of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers. Leases and other property-related documents as a whole rarely provide, however, that legal disputes should be arbitrated by a lawyer. Estate surveyors and valuers are the gatekeepers of mediation. Estate surveyors and valuers also play a substantial role in diverse matters where valuation advice are needed to the value of assets or properties jointly owned by the parties for financial dispute resolution. I'll give you an example. There was an acquisition in a brass terminal. This was resolved through arbitration. Estate surveyors and valuers were the expert advisors who provided advice on the rental value of the land that was the salient matter of the dispute, and this was key to resolving the matter. Also, in land acquisition and compensation valuation matters which fall under the purview of real estate, estate surveyors and valuers provide valuation advice to guide both the acquiring authorities and the landowners through communities. A striking example was in the acquisition of a vast expanse of land
Okay.
when they are not reported, when they don't know the supreme they help in serving people and maintaining the system. Now, coming back to what the first year Prof said, the Prof is real. But I got may have technical facilities, but having been in the Goshen for 20 years and stayed on Victoria Island, I really don't see how much Lagos is. Most of the sentiments always come before security issues. But I don't ask the next person to think about it. And now we're moving about the so many issues.
We already have the arbitration law, and soon, by the grace of God, we are going to have a center. So what I'm going to say is to encourage the chairman and his people to be more insistent, because the problem I had with in the Ministry of Justice was to drag people to make sure that Port Harcourt becomes an arbitration center. And in almost always, I lose that battle. It has become, for me, one of the saddest things I couldn't get over. Because when it comes to arbitration, and mainly those agreements were by international operators. And if there is anything, the only thing they refer to their lawyers abroad was on the arbitration clause. All others who negotiated the agreements with us were engineers and commercial people. So it underlines and underscores the importance of what we are doing here today. And so, Prof, if there is any way you are going to, and I'm going to, I'm not saying by order of court now, I will appeal that now that we have this group, people must understand that Port Harcourt has the manpower, the human resource, and the wherewithal to actually conduct arbitrations in this state. On that note, I bring to you the goodwill of the President of the Customary Court of Appeal, and I wish you a very successful celebration. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Lordship. Since we're in Q&A, I will just take the liberty, with the kind permission of the chair, to not much of a question, but more of a comment, possibly a question at the end. And I say this because I've looked at the paper presented at my dear brother, Henry, months ago. It resonates with an aspect of what Prof. Silk also said, and interestingly, what my Lord has now mentioned, the issue of security. Now, Mr. Mosiko's paper referenced a party that I'm very familiar with, Nauk Brass Terminal. And if you talk Nauk, you might as well be talking SPDC, you might as well be talking Chevron, all the popular IOCs. So the question is, Port Harcourt, River State, or if we want to even extend it, the Niger Delta is good for business. Then when you have a dispute, there's now security concern. It's something, there's a disconnect. You have a dispute, parties are immediately, and you said it, you put it beautifully, Prof, that when they told you the possible location of the dispute was in Bayelsa, panic setting. But the reality is, you have Brass Terminal, Nauk has been there longer than Bayelsa State. So perhaps a lot needs to be done by stakeholders like us in the practice of arbitration. And thankfully, this theme could not have been more apt. And I'm certain that with all the significant experiences that Emeka has had with you, on this very troubling issue, we would be able to fashion out ways and means of really directing the thoughts and minds of disputants, if any, that Port Harcourt could indeed be a proper seat for you to come have your dispute resolved peacefully with no trouble. The other question that I wanted to, or rather, the question I wanted to ask after my short comment, you made a comment which I agree with entirely, Prof. That is that arbitration is not as expensive as it's being projected, but I'm not so sure I got whether you explained that in depth in your paper, because that is one of the issues even young arbitrators face when they are confronted with disputes, having to convince those who have come with the problem that cost should not be an issue. Just as an aside, I had an interesting situation where somebody came with a 25 million naira claim, and when we wanted to do it virtually also, and I had made, and there was a potential 10 or 15 million naira additional claim to that, and we had proposed the fee, and the fellow just on the screen just said it's either 200 or nothing. And that, of course, so how does one tackle the issue of fees? Overall cost of arbitration vis-a-vis the
by the point of claim. Insisted that his fee will be 24 million naira. As arbitrators, at the risk of excusing, we are not even asking for a quarter. And this fellow was talking on behalf of the
arbitrators, and as you well know in arbitration, once fees are mentioned, they together to constitute a united front. So look at what your counsel is even claiming. We're not even asking you to compare, but look at the amount of work we intend to put in. I don't know if you've had experiences in these issues, and if you could share some thoughts on this. And then finally, simply because I've had young arbitrators also ask me this question. You have an arbitration process, and you say you want X amount as your professional fee. You have agreed with the parties. Overnight, one party comes out and is basically dilatory in his approach. He doesn't want to pay. You put forward a suggestion. If party A pays the entire fee, are you willing to go on? They say, perhaps. Party A doggedly goes ahead to make payment. Party B wakes up one morning, the next thing you see is a motion filed in court seeking to stop the arbitration proceedings for any number of reasons. And interestingly, somebody said, are we sure that having paid will not decide against it? So I think there's an element of education, enlightenment, which hopefully we would continue to struggle to do in these areas. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Thank you.
We're just sharing one more.
Seriously?
More rules.
Well, my Lord Chairman, mine is not a question, maybe just a comment. First of all, I congratulate this chapter, that 10th anniversary. 10 years is a landmark anywhere and in any context. So I congratulate you. And I also congratulate myself because I can see that this chapter has adopted me as a friend. Because I was here with them last year, COVID-free, but now even amidst COVID, they still thought it well to have me in their midst. Thank you very much. And my comment is, first of all, on security, which has also been an issue raised here. My view, I have never been a politician, and I think I may never be. But the issue of security when it comes to matters like this is politics. It's politics. I lived in Lagos for a third of my life. And for anybody to tell me that Lagos is safer than Port Harcourt is a lie from the pit of hell. So, to bring in security in matters like this so as to hijack arbitration or matters that should be holding in Port Harcourt to Lagos because of security. Now, I say it's politics, and lawyers are also politicians. There are APC politicians here, there are PDP politicians here. True or false? Play politics, those who want to play politics. And that is why when an issue like this comes before you, whether PDP or APC hierarchy, those in there should tell them, say, please, let us think well. This is not security. Because my experience within the past few years is that the opposition, whatever it is, they choose to paint some areas black. They say River State is not safe. It is the APC people that say so. I'm not a politician, so I will not claim to be politically right, but I will say it as it is. It is the APC people who have been saying that River State is not safe. So you, who are also in the APC, tell them so, no, that is not correct. Port Harcourt is safe for arbitration, pure and simple. Then my second point is raised by, when I saw H.E. Oborodi, I said, His Excellency, we have an Excellency here in our midst. Anyway, so I looked at page 4 and 5 of this presentation, and I saw something that reminds me of what I said here last year. It reminds me of a book by Jeffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, the prologue to the Pardoner's Tale. And it says, in churches where I preach, I cultivate a haughty kind of speech. I ring it out as roundly as a bell. I have by heart the tale I tell. I have a theme, it always is the same, and always has been since I learned the game. Older than the hills and fresher than the grass. Radix et marum cupiditas. Desire is the root of all evil. That's what I say. So, what brings me to that is that I have made this point before in this forum, that it is easier to take a lawyer out of the courtroom than to take the courtroom out of the lawyer. What do I mean? That a lawyer will try to torture legal procedure into every situation. And the author of this touches on it that lawyers will do anything. So what we try to do, let the lawyers try to draw a line between arbitration and legal procedure. so that we make progress. Otherwise, we will not make progress. Arbitration will be litigation by another name if we continue that way. So it is a matter for all you lawyers to sort out so that the benefits of arbitration will be derived, not arbitration to be litigation by another name. That is my message. Let me stop there so that another people can contribute. But meanwhile, again, I congratulate this chapter on their 10th anniversary, and I am always with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, my lord.
I had said earlier on that arbitration is not as expensive as litigation. And like Tony said, what I have learned, my little experience, is that during the preliminary meeting, I take out time to educate the parties. Of course, I always use a CIArb skill. I take out time to educate the parties, to let them know that arbitration remains a better option, and to let them know, give them an idea of how much time was spent. And I let them know that if they were to go to court, by the time they are done with filing preliminary objections, moving between the High Court and the Court of Appeal, and sometimes the Supreme Court, you have spent almost 7 to 10 years. And after I have done that, before I always ask the registrar to let us have an idea of the skill. Of course, for me, it was a seminar, a webinar that was, we had some time ago. I think it was, which was it now? I can't remember, I attended it. And the issue was on this issue of fees for arbitrators. And my approach is that, I mean, I've done a lot with the NECA, is that I am as flexible as possible. We just, there's one ongoing now, and I can tell you, when we give them our fees, they've quarreled and so on and so forth. But I'm a very practical person. And eventually, they suggested, made a suggestion, but somehow what we got was good anyway, because no one ever really follows the skill. So, but I think what has helped me for my practice is that before we even commence the PM, I always try to educate the parties on arbitration, the importance, the advantages, why they should be encouraged to arbitrate. I think that has helped me a great deal. Like I said, sometimes there are situations where, as a matter of practice, I get some small, what I call small arbitrations. I found them out to my younger ones. Because I would say, rather than tie myself down with this, I know that the fee I'm going to earn will be quite small. I'll find a younger person and say, okay, you take this, or you take that one. The other smaller one, the half one I'm doing now, the fee is very little, but I just need to help. My fee is just about 2 billion. So I just need to assist. Get a point. But a good number of them, I take out. I have my students who have called me and they say, to give me, but when, like example he gave, is lack of understanding. That's why you have to put a clause. I talk about a three-man panel. Of course, he can't afford it. So what I do, when I see that, I encourage them to look for young people who are coming up and give such matters to them. But I do know that, like I said earlier on, the more we educate our members, we are not just very statement. You still find out that when you come into a hearing, you still find lawyers who want to frustrate the entire process. If you're not strong, so they shall criticize him. If you're not strong and you don't understand, you don't have the things in your fingertips, they can bamboozle you. But if once the council see that you're strong and you know what you're doing, the person will, usually it's always the respondent's counsel, he will calm down. Because you let him know, and that's the truth, that whether you cooperate or not, I know how to go about it, and I just ignore you. If at the end of the day an award is made, you can go and apply to set aside. But when it goes against you, that's your problem. So I think that, for me, one thing we should take away is that when we charge fees, I agree, when we charge our fees, because it comes lump sum, I've been lucky. I've never charged fees instrumental. My fees come, I insist, everything up from before we start. I've always been lucky with that. Now, when those fees come, imagine earning like 5 or 10 million, it's lump sum, or 20 million, it's lump sum, and in 6 months you're through. Any matter where you pay 20, 25 million naira, I can bet you'll be in court for the next 10 years. Because they're going to be going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But again, we have to understand that in as much as it pays us good money, there are times we need to be very practical. The aim is not just to make the money, the aim is to take yourself out there. I was retained as counsel. The man's claim is humongous. But paying my fee, the problem. But I've accepted it. The boy is going to pay. Not what I've charged ordinarily, but I've taken it because I'm not looking at that particular dispute. He has 3 other disputes, that's what I'm targeting. So I want to get into a company, and all right, let me just get the initial money, no problem, but I'm looking at other fee. Also, I think the whole thing varies from one situation to another, but I think that at the end of the day, we should learn to be very practical when we're charging. So we use the SIArb scale usually, nobody pays it, and I always let you know. I always let the parties know if I'm presiding that we're going to use the SIArb scale. You are not obliged to pay because you cannot pay, so you negotiate and come up with something reasonable. And that has worked a great deal for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you to our able speakers. We've had a great time drawing from your wealth of experience. Just before we round off, we will be taking 2 questions, comments, observations, whichever one you need. The first one we have from Ruth Akani, and then we'll take one more person. One more person. If you want to ask a question, okay, the gentleman. After Ruth, the gentleman, and we're done. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, members of the high table, colleagues here. My question goes to the first speaker. He talked about the issue of security. That is the reason why Port Harcourt will be suitable for session practice here. I want to say that even for you to have confidence to do a matter in Port Harcourt, I believe that, or in arbitration, the party is hiring you. The issue of security for the venue of arbitration to be removed from Port Harcourt shouldn't come up, because all over the globe, issue of safety and security is of the Lord. You know, the horse is prepared for battle, but safety is of the Lord. So that shouldn't be a question of fear at all. Assuming it is so, that truly, which is not correct, that Port Harcourt is prone to I want to tell the speaker to say that if you have belief that truly, the process you're going to and your heart is to tune with God, I think you shouldn't have fear. For instance, when you said you are going to, how do you go to Bayelsa and all that? Fine, it's good to have that fear, but I want you to trust that truly in your heart, safety is of the Lord. Debunk that fear. Debunk it in the soul and have confidence in what you're going to do. And I charge you, I encourage you that eventually, if you trust truly in your soul that God, you have safety in Him, haven't done all you need to do, I trust you that it will be a success. You won't have the hurt in Port Harcourt.
Thank you, Mrs. Akani. Thank you for your comment.
Two is
please, can we move on, Mrs. Akani? We beg you to please pass the microphone.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay,
thank you.
Just leave it there.
Thank you. So the gentleman who raised his hand over there will take his question.
Okay, Prof, thank you very much for the lecture to study my Nigerian legal system under Prof. So it's just a question, considering the unfortunate story you told about a co-arbitrator disclosing a potential award, the party that appointed him. So let's say when Port Harcourt becomes a hub, how do we check such practices? Is there a sanction regime in place to check an arbitrator disclosing a potential award to a party? And if there is none, I also want to suggest that we can also have a regime whereby some persons can be blacklisted as arbitrators, in the sense that we can have, I don't know how it will work out, but it's just a thought, whereby arbitrators will comment on the suitability of a person to be appointed an person, so that if an arbitrator, a co-arbitrator knows that there is potential of him being blacklisted, such attitude will not be, will not see such attitude. So is there a sanction regime in place? That is the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Please, can we have the microphone to Prof so that he can respond to the question and comment?
Okay, thank you. Madam, I think you misquoted me. I didn't say security was a problem in Port Harcourt. I said, I give an example. I prefer to come to Port Harcourt than to go to Bayelsa. So the one we had, I said, can we make Port Harcourt our venue? But because, of course, the parties had put Bayelsa as the place of arbitration in the agreement, we had no choice. And the parties said they also wanted to, in fact, the claimant insisted he wanted it in Bayelsa. And many things went through my mind. But anyway, safety is of the Lord, like you said. Well, sometimes, you know, if you tell me to go to Kaduna now from Abuja, I won't. If I won't fly, I won't even go by train. I would rather fly than travel to Kaduna by road. If you know what's going on in that axis, we'll continue to thank God for his mercies. Now, my friend, the thing is that there's a code of conduct for arbitrators. And, you know, the way is through referrals. And if you do not conduct yourself well, of course, the news goes round. I just told you a story, but I didn't mention any name. Of course, I'm not going to mention a name. But perhaps I could be somewhere tomorrow and where I have the opportunity of nominating, or someone nominates the person I spoke about, and I'll say, no, I don't want him. You get my point? These things have a way of affecting your practice as an arbitrator or even as a legal practitioner. So I think the only thing we owe ourselves is just to, and that's why I made the point, many people today are maybe members of some associations, but they haven't understood what the practice of arbitration is all about. My Lord alluded to that. If you don't understand the practice, understand the philosophy behind arbitration, then you will still think like a litigator. For example, I teach labor law. That's one of my core areas. And if you don't understand the philosophy behind national industrial courts and why they reason the way they reason, then you're going to go to an appeal on every decision that comes out from the courts. So I think that what we owe ourselves, even as we come up, younger ones, older ones, because every day we learn something. Every day I learn something new in this practice. Every day I come up with across new situations and I learn something new. And I think what we owe ourselves, like the example I gave to you, I said to myself that it's better you do the right thing and become, quote unquote, enemies with someone than you tarnish your reputation Because if you tarnish your reputation, that what you've written will always come out someday. And you're going to subject to a review, whether someone goes to court or one way or the other. And there is an kind of award they're going to write. Somebody will ask the question, is there anything wrong? Something must have transpired. What kind of award is this? So what we owe ourselves is to do the proper thing and ensure that we follow the ethics. We have ethics. We have a code of conduct. We follow the ethics. If you don't do that, well, it depends. You may be lucky, you may be unlucky. But once people get to know somehow that you are not someone to be trusted, that you compromise, or that you don't have independence or impartiality whenever you are nominated, it's going to affect referrals that come to you. And so at the end of the day, you may end up still being the litigator that you've always been. Thank you.
Can we put our hands together? Thank you, Professor. Indeed, it's been a worthwhile time listening to you. I hope we have our lucky hats on because we will soon be having the raffle draw. Are we ready? Are we ready? Yes, we have some movie tickets and we have some dinner tickets up for grabs. So please get ready. Make sure you have your numbers picked. Well, before we go into that, we'll kindly ask my lords, our speakers, and the Port Harcourt branch chairman to please step forward alongside with the new executives for the cutting of the cake. Please, can we have the new executives come join my lords, our chairman, as we cut the cake. The new executives, please step forward. Members of the outgoing ESCO, please join them as well. The outgoing ESCO, please join as the cake is cut. Are we ready, cameraman? So we will say CIArb and the cake will be cut. Are we ready? CIArb. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you. So now into the raffle draw. Are we ready? Are we ready? Who is the lucky number 2? Lucky number 2? Can I see you, lucky number 2? Yes. You have the first dinner ticket. Step forward, lucky number 2. Can we give him a round of applause? Congratulations. He's the recipient of the first dinner ticket. Can I see lucky number 5? Lucky number 5, second recipient of a dinner ticket. Please clap for her. Lucky number 8. Lucky number 8, are you there? You have a movie ticket. Lucky number 9. Yes. Lucky number 9, you have a movie ticket. So I said, put your lucky hats on. Yes, please. Lucky number 13. Lucky number 13. You have a dinner ticket. Put your hands together for her. Lucky number 15. Where are you? Lucky number 15. Yes, you have a dinner ticket as well. Lucky number 18. Who is our number 18? You have a movie ticket. Put your hands together. Lucky number 20. Yeah. Movie tickets. Lucky number 20, you have a dinner ticket. Okay, 4 more to go, so please make sure you have those lucky hats on. Lucky number 24. 24, you have a movie ticket, 24. Dinner tickets. Lucky number 22. Lucky number 22. Are you here? You have a dinner ticket. Who is 26? 26? 26? Yeah, you have a dinner ticket. Okay, 2 more to go. Lucky number 28. Lucky number 28. Yes, give her a round of applause. You have a dinner ticket. Please clap for her. And the very last ticket up for grabs. The very last ticket, the last dinner ticket. The very lucky number 30. Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You've been an awesome, awesome guest. Thank you so much. Put your hands together for yourselves.
Thank you very much, MC. Just 2 quick words before Emeka gives his vote of thanks. For those who have won the dinner tickets, please give your name and number to Akin, the secretary of the chapter, before you leave. All you need to do when you come for the MBA dinner on the 10th, there's a table of some sort that will be set aside for either a table or they will direct you to where you would sit. It makes for easy identification. And then secondly, just to reiterate one point that ran through the papers presented by the learned SAN and our very esteemed estate surveyor and valuer. All of us here, arbitrators, whether young or old, and those aspiring. It's one thing we can do in terms of baby steps to make Port Harcourt truly a hub of arbitration. It's just a simple phrase or word. When you prepare that contract, are trying to make up their mind where the seat of that arbitration process should be, please think Port Harcourt. Think Port Harcourt, please. Particularly where you find that the subject matter, the parties are all here. Because sometimes, as we've come to learn, there could be something malicious or malafide in the requirement that in a David and Goliath scenario, that the seat be located somewhere far away. So as much as is humanly possible, think Port Harcourt. And then maybe you go a step further. And this is me being Oliver Twist here. Regardless of whether or not the seats, the issues are one that could ordinarily generate from Port Harcourt, if they are actually looking for a seat without bias, a seat that will be impartial, if you permit the phrase, think Port Harcourt. These are the baby steps we can deploy to eventually making our dear city a hub for arbitration. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, Port Harcourt chapter. At this point, we'll come to the close of the meeting.
Emeka.
But we will invite the Chairman, Planning Committee, and the Vice Chairman, Port Harcourt chapter, for his vote of thanks. Can we put our hands together for him?
The password is think Port Harcourt, think Port Harcourt, and think Port Harcourt. May I stand on existing protocol? Mr. Chairman, LT Shanewo, representing the President of the Customary Court of Appeal, our distinguished speakers, and our own dear Henry, Honorable Justice, please forgive me, sir. I can't risk contempt. Our own dear Henry Amosigo, for such a very wonderful delivery on topical issues regarding arbitration, and in particular how to make Port Harcourt a hub. We learned so much, and we cannot thank you enough. And we wish there will be another opportunity. In fact, there will be several other opportunities. And we hope that anytime we call on you, you will oblige us. Thank you very much, and thank you very much once again. It shouldn't be an opportunity again to start recapping what has been said. But it is very important that I touch this area, particularly as it concerns security. So many things have been said about this there Port Harcourt. And it is only when you're in Port Harcourt that you will understand or appreciate the fact that so many lives are flying here and there. Mr. Chair, you recall in 2018, about when we are to host the annual general conference. At the 11th hour, there was this thick conspiracy to take it out from Port Harcourt. But some of us who were in the Central Planning Committee, we stood our ground. And the question I remember I asked, which I also, after speaking over the phone, I sent it as a mail. I asked the then chairman of the branch, if Port Harcourt is as bad as being projected, why are we still living? Why are people still going about their normal businesses? And why are people not taking in body bags on hourly basis to the mortuary? It is not everything we hear or read on the pages of newspaper that is true. So on that note, I want to disabuse the mind of some of us who are not resident in Port Harcourt to know that it's not exactly what you hear or what you read on pages of newspaper that is true about Port Harcourt. This is the home. This is the home. And this is the future. On that note, I thank each and every one of you for finding time to come to be with us. 10 years is quite a good milestone. We are looking forward that the next 10 years will be more monumental. And a good number of us will beat their chest and say, we were there when it all started. and feel so proud to say they are members of Port Harcourt chapter of the CIArb. I want to especially thank members of my planning committee, the secretary. I call him Chief, and I'll call him Chief again. Chief Clifford Sigalo, the secretary of the committee. Mr. Akin, I'm not wearing my glasses. Mr. Akin, Akianju, Mrs. Evelyn, Membre, Asimia, Mrs. Oyeni Wanodi, Mr. Ampim Gogo Brankston, my lady, Precious Ichoku, Mrs. Wamara, please forgive me, I will not pronounce the surname before I run into trouble. I dare not do that. Mrs. Gladys, Captain Briggs, Mr. Secretary, my own very person, and our brother and our member, our own Mr. Henry, was also part of it. And we have someone representing us in diaspora. That's Mr. Joseph Sayadon, Mr. CJ Owuzulibo, Ms. Rita Chinda, of course, Nike Arobolo, and we cannot say this without mentioning the ultimate chairman. Chairman, your direction, the supervision, the comforting assistance you render throughout has been second to none. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope we have not disappointed you. Thank you so much, and God bless all of us. May I just, on a very final note, invite all members of the planning committee to file out for a photograph. Thank you so much.
I like back into these shoes.
Very quickly, members of the planning committee, please step forward for your group photograph. Camera, are we ready? Thank you so much, members of the planning committee. Put your hands together for them. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, my lords, everyone present. Thank you so much for your time and patience. I hope you all have a great evening ahead of you. Thank you. DJ, please, can we have some music? Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Too tired to do that. I knew I would have a day of not eating.
was why I don't quickly went for the I don't have energy. I went for the hug. So it's a big feeling. Amara.